Alright, look out for Charlie here. And before we even get started with this, it's imperative that you listen to this on good speakers or good headphones or something with a low end and mid-range response. Even earbuds will do. Don't listen to this on your phone or your tablet or whatever and then tell me that you can't hear anything. And if you have something to say about it, spend 2 weeks at least listening to this kind of audio. And I mean consistently. If you sit and listen to it for 3 hours, you'll start to hone in on the frequencies and it will sound much different than when you're just skimming over the top for the first time. For the rest of you guys out there, I really need your help with this one. Share this. Send it to people. I can't do everything. And this one needs to get out there because it's so absolutely crazy. What I'm covering is, and I don't want to even, I'm not going to show any video. I don't want to even go into like super details about what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you enough to where you can figure out what it is and what it goes to. It's an event that happened on March 15th of 2019. It happened in New Zealand. A guy hooked his GoPro up to himself and went into an establishment with some parishioners in there and unloaded. The first time I listened to it, I knew the audio was fucked. Like I knew it right away listening to it. But I was in the middle of another audio project and I had to set it aside because it was too much. And I actually forgot about it. And I was watching some videos on BitChute and saw a video about this pop up. And I went, oh my God, I got this audio. So I started to go through it. And it's a mind blower. It's just a mind blower. I'm not even going to go in with the tame stuff. I'm just going to come out and hit you with the left and the right because it's fucking crazy. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this happened in New Zealand, and look up those dates and all the other details and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Share this. You have to help me share this. Send it to people. Send it to Jeff Rentz. Send it to everybody. It's imperative because this is intense and it's taken a big risk putting this stuff out there for nothing if it doesn't get into the right hands, and it needs to because this is off the charts fucking crazy. So some of you may know that in New Zealand and a couple other countries, they actually started threatening people, saying, if you have a copy of this video, we're going to give you 10 years in prison. Blah, 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 blah. It's still up on BitChute. You can check it out. After going through the audio, I know why they were threatening people with prison time having a copy of this. Because choosing to do this in a high ceiling place, it's a mosque, a high ceiling place that works as an echo chamber, it's a perfect place to pick up all the audio. There are parts where the weapon is going off and I have talking underneath the weapon going off. In any normal situation, that's not possible. Okay? All the good parts are while the guy is either in the mosque or in the hallway. The strange part about the video that I noticed just watching the video, okay, is that he never goes through the doors. He never ever goes through the doors. He goes down one main hallway into one main room, out, in again, leaves, and comes back through like he's going in to clean house. But he never goes into these rooms. Okay, and there's a point to this. I'm going to show you audio. So let's listen to the first area where it gets weird. Now this guy, when he finishes unloading 2 bursts, the ceiling rings like a bell. And it tells you something, what the acoustics are like in there. So let's listen to that really quick. Okay, you hear that? The ceiling reverberates everything. It rings out like a bell. Okay, now, right here, this is a non-English speaking Arab people here, okay? And someone yells sloppy. That's somebody yelling sloppy. Okay, that's whatever, okay? But listen to this. This voice comes in twice here. There's a robo voice while the room is still ringing. Right here. Okay, now, here is a key spot. I'm going to take you back to this a little bit later. Now, here, this is where it gets nuts. I'm going to load up a different file. Okay, this guy is totally by himself. The only guy in this place. I mean, there's other people around, but they're all running or laying there dead or whatever. Okay? A voice says, right here, there are 2 of them. This voice says, we've got people in the office. Now remember, I just told you, he came through the hallway. He never goes in those doors. Ever. He just goes straight down the hallway into the main area 3 times. Never goes into the rooms. Okay? This voice says, we've got people in the office. We've got people in the office. I'm going to repeat it. It's plain as day. Dude, it's plain as day. Listen. Okay, now, there's a second voice that's higher. That's that yelling voice that sounds like something else. It actually says, don't go in the office. The lower voice is saying, we've got people in the office. A higher voice starts a second later, says, don't go in the office. It's yelling it. It's saying, we've got people in the office. Listen to it. Over and over and over if you have to. It's there. If you say it's not, you're high. Whatever. Now, for those of you that may be going, I don't know, I'm going to play you a different version. It's a little more distorted, but I brought the frequencies up of just that voice. So, let's repeat that. Now, here's a different version. Some of you, your ears are different. You might pick up mid-range more. So let's play them all. That's fucking crazy. Now this one, I'm going to play you starting with phase 1, which is the original audio. Then phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, a bunch of different versions. Okay, when I first heard it, I went, wow, that's weird. It sounded like they said something about magazine. So, I hadn't even gotten past that yet. I'm listening, and I was like, that was magazine. They said something about a magazine. And I'm thinking of a book, right, that you read, a magazine, like People, I guess. So, anyway, let's listen right here. There's a little bit of noise. Right there he says, magazine. I'm going to loop it. It's a little hard to hear, but this is the original audio. Just boost it up a little bit. Okay, so here's version 2. I, altered it a little bit. Now the words before that start to come out. And it says, change your magazine. Okay, so if you can't hear that, I'm going to play you a different version. Okay, he says magazine there. There is no way he's not saying magazine. Now here's phase probably 4. It says change your magazine. Now I'm going to repeat the magazine part again. Okay, let's play this version. That one's really compressed down. So what happens after he says change your magazine? Well, he changes his magazine in his gun. Hear that? That's exactly what happens. It's fucking off the hook crazy. I want to replay part of that really quick, but I want to say something that I've been meaning to say for a while and I keep forgetting. Is that what you have to understand about audio is it's not television. In television, words are enunciated and you can hear everything clearly. If you record a random conversation, you should do it. You should turn your phone recorder on in the middle of a shopping center or whatever and record people talking and listen to it later and try to figure out what people are talking about. If it's clear as day, sometimes it's hard as hell to figure out what is going on. And people say things really quickly, quicker than you would expect. What, like, sentences just come out like that. Sentences just come out. And that's how fast something can be said. So here, when I says change your magazine, it actually, to me, it sounds like really quickly, it sounds like you better change your magazine. You better change your. Or why don't you? But it's fast. It is really fast. But the magazine part, which is typical of these RF communications, one word is really slow. Imagine a bass and a guitar being the words and chunkalunking at 60 beats per minute. There are ELF pulses behind it going in like quadruple time for it to ride on. That's how it rides on ambient noise. So if this is going, let's say the voice is 60 beats per minute, because it's all based on BPM. If the voice is going 60 beats per minute, then the pulses behind it are going 240 beats per minute. They're going like quadruple time, like really fast. So that's how this stuff rides. It's a pulse. So other words go really fast, and then one word will ride over the top of those pulses. Some of you may not be convinced that there's something fishy about this audio yet. And I put a video out. It's in my archives called ELF voice proven in 3 seconds or something like that, where I took a wind clip that I knew wasn't wind and tweaked it so that you could see what it really was, which was an ELF voice. In this clip, he is still in the building, he's not outside yet, and he gets this wind in his microphone, in his GoPro wind. Let's check this out. Okay, so what is really there? Let's start with stage 2. Here's a little bit of tweaking to it. Okay, now remember when I said we've got people in the office and I showed you that clip? Here's stage 3. Okay, that's not wind, okay? If you think that's wind, you need the Thorazine drip. Okay, what that's starting to sound like is they're alive in the office. Office. They're alive. They're alive in the office. Let's go to stage 6. They're alive in the office. There's stage 7. Stage 8. They're alive in the office. I'm gonna loop that. Okay, now I'm gonna play stage 9. They're alive in the office. Now remember, this started out as just some wind in the mic. Sounded like wind. Wasn't. This is what happens when these ELF voices hit something like microphone, electronic equipment, an electromagnetic microphone. It sounds like wind. It can sound like snoring or a pig or a grunt. A lot of people say that's demonic. I got demonic sounds on here. No, you don't. You've just got ELF. Now here's another one. This is stage 10. I'm going to loop this 3 times. Now this one defies reality. This is a burst of gunfire. We're going to listen to it. I want you to hear it. Ready? Okay. You hear the ringing? It's ringing like a bell. The whole place. That is not good for an operation like this. At all. Let's play it one more time. Okay, do you know how loud an AR or an SKS or, AK is? Loud. Fucking loud. But underneath that is this. Follows right along with the bursts of the gun. And right here it says, in a female-y voice, which it's not a female because it's a computer. Or it's a computer voice, I should say. It says, I see he has fulfilled his purpose. Purpose is right here. I see he has fulfilled. I see he has fulfilled his purpose. It's all monotone too. You have to remember that this stuff follows a note. A note. Usually around 60 hertz. This is under a gunshot. This is under a gunshot, dude. Come on. Now, here's another ELF, and it's not a mind blower, but it is just to show you more proof that there is something nefarious at work here. Let's listen to the original. Now, to the untrained ear, that's just some wind or some rumble until I get a hold of it, and it's not anymore. Here's stage 2. I only did 2 extra stages of this, so I'm going to do stage 2, stage 3. Here is stage 2. It sounds like our guy needs to exit. You hear that? Do you hear that? Because I can hear it if you listen to this stuff for a day. And I don't mean like twice. I mean you listen. Your ears have to get used to the audio. It's like when you're sitting in a room and your fridge is going and your hot water tank's going in the other room or wherever, and your ears get used to all this noise. And when it all shuts off, the silence is almost deafening because your ears became accustomed to it. If you sit and get used to this audio, it is easy to pick this stuff out, and you can hear it anywhere. In any recording, after a while, you can instantly hear it. And there are a lot of recordings out there where it's not there. But there are a lot of recordings out there where it is there. A lot. And most of the recordings out there, that people don't even realize that it's there. So let's listen to this wind one more time. It's not wind, it's not rumble. This is just another area that I call the ghostly audio. And let me say right now, I am not implying at all that this is paranormal, because it's not. It is not paranormal. Don't even leave the comment that it's paranormal. Let's check it out. The voice says, and as it becomes clearer, there's something said here, okay? And it says, that's what I think. And as the tone changes, you'll hear it. Okay, it makes it a little more distorted, but that's how the process works. Listen to this, stage 3. Right there he says, that's what I think. That's what I think. I'll loop it. Play stage 4. Let's try stage 5. Nefarious. Okay, this one is very interesting. And I'm playing a lot of these, but you gotta buckle up and sit through it because this is how this shit goes down. This is how it goes down. Alright, here's a clip. Now this is the original. Okay? And I would hear this in the audio. And I can hear it. It sounded like he said something about let him trust me. Other people wouldn't hear that. Or very few, I should say. Your ears have to be tuned to this. And you have to have audio ears. Okay? So let's play stage 2, where I just tweak it a little bit. Now it's more distorted, but the voice is getting louder. Alright, here's stage 3. Okay? Now, here is the last stage. It sounds like better let him trust me, even though it probably isn't, but it's definitely trust me. Now just remember, this guy was supposed to be alone. There's no one with him. Okay, here, quickly. This one is right before shots fired. It says he's an enemy. A lot of people wouldn't hear that. But here's stage 2. And it's so loud in the electronics that that actually bleeds into the gunshot. Now let's go back to the very first one. Comes in, place rings like a bell. I played you one clip. Sloppy. Sloppy. Right after, 2 bursts. Sloppy. Now, for those who have experienced this, and those of you who are dealing with it right now, think about this. Sane people can be pushed to do crazy things when they're under the initial bewilderment of this before they figure out what's going on. You know, people tear their clothes off looking for microphones and the technology that is doing this to them, and it makes them look more insane. They do all these different things, you know, tear their house apart looking for the technology that's doing this because they're sane and they're rationalizing what is going on here. How is this being done to me? You know, and the initial bewilderment of this can get people to do crazy things. Or it can be used as sort of a spy phone where people can talk back and forth or be directed to do things without any record of that being on a cell phone call or a transmission via normal CB, shortwave radio, blah, 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 blah. This is totally different, and it gets into everything. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that this guy did this alone. Whether he was directed to do it, I'm not positive yet. It sounds that way, but I'm not positive. However, he was at least being monitored and watched while he did it. At least, at the very least. This is nefarious as fuck. Okay? What I showed you over the last however many minutes, if you can't see that, and you don't find anything weird about any of this, your bootlicking has gone into schizophrenia. At the very least, he was being monitored. At the most, he was being directed to do it. He was getting somebody telling him that there were people in the office. We have people in the office. And then it said office again later. And he never went into those rooms. Ever. Ever. He went into the place 3 times. Videos down everywhere. Go to BitChute. Check it out. He went into the place 3 times. Never went in those doors. Ever. Share this. Get it to people. Get it out there. Look out for Charlie.